Hey everybody, welcome back to Japan by Food's ramen series. I'm your host Frank, and we are again in the glitzy Ginza area of Tokyo. Now you're probably thinking, why are we always in Ginza? That's because there's a lot of amazing ramen here, as I've highlighted many times, and there's just so many places that I want to introduce. The place that we're going to today is called ABC Ramen. They've been around since 1977, and they're actually a basement ramen restaurant. Big contrast from all these fancy shops and stores that we have on the surface. Once we go down in the basement, we've got delicious ramen in what is very much a sort of drinking place environment. A lot of fun. Let's go check out ABC Ramen here in Ginza. Okay, here we go. Just arrived at ABC Ramen. Let's take a look at the menu. I'm definitely getting this one, which is the MAJYANMEN. This is what they're known for, their signature ramen, let's say. What it is basically soy sauce alongside sesame paste. And what's cool about this place is they actually have a pretty big menu. They've got a lot of izakaya food items alongside the ramen. And yeah, you can feel the history inside since 1977. お願いします。麻雀麺一つと魔女味噌ジャンください。はい、お願いします。はい、ありがとうございます。All right, I'm excited to dive in. My first ramen here at ABC Ramen. And the soup, you have a little bit of thickness because of that sesame paste. Basically, the base of this is sesame paste and shoyu, or soy sauce. Those two blended together, holding up what is a pork bone, chicken bone, and vegetable-based soup. The vegetables that they're tossing in include carrots as well as onions and some other things. Anyways, enough talking. Starting with the soup. Oh, perfect. Deliciously perfect on a rainy day. You also get heat, like there's this chili oil that hits the back of your throat too. The soy sauce has that sharper, kind of bolder flavor that hits you a little bit, but alongside that you've got the mellowness from the sesame paste. They really work well together. Okay, noodle time. Look at these beautifully thick noodles here, mopping up all of that great broth. Nice and fat noodles. You get a little bit of sweetness too there. There's a lot going on, but it's quite balanced. If we move on from the fat noodles, let's get to the toppings. We've got a generous amount of menma, or bamboo shoots, alongside kaiware sprouts. These are not as common in ramen as, let's say, spring onions or negi, but you do see them from time to time. They're relatively bitter, kind of like shoots through that sesame and soy sauce flavored soup when you bite into them with those noodles. In addition to that, as I'm digging in here, they've actually got zasai. This is actually a Chinese cuisine pickled vegetable. Nice and crunchy, and I think it also reminds you of the Chinese roots of ramen. MAJYANMEN sounds like something you might see on a Chinese restaurant menu. The fact that they're using sesame paste as well. We also have black and white sesame seeds sprinkled on top, reinforcing that sesame theme. And in the very middle, we have niku miso. That sweetness that I was tasting earlier, definitely coming from that niku miso. And this is very cool. You don't see this at ramen restaurants. As you can see here, this is a bowl specifically designed to grind sesame seeds. And as you can see inside of the bowl here, there are actually little grooves. You can see these lines that will help you grind the sesame. And the sesame is right here. I'm going to toss some of those in. And just as I'm doing, you do it enough, they're going to get more fine. And you can already see how they're evolving here on the side. It's becoming closer to a powder. But another interesting thing is actually the bowl here. If you look at it, it's actually got the same grooves. If I take my chopsticks and I just go along the side here, I can feel the same sort of lines that we have in the smaller bowl. And I'm just gonna pour in that sesame here. There we go. Okay, now here with the sesame. Yep, adds more sesame to what is already a sesame base. If you're big on sesame, give that a try. All right, just took my pictures and I am ready to dive in. This MAJO miso janmen, and this is on the spicier side. They also do some different things with the preparation here. And we'll start with the soup. This one hits harder. Basically, that spice is definitely cranked up a few notches, even when I'm not directly in the middle where most of the spice is, or I should say togarashi combined with niku miso. The soup itself is the same. We have the pork bone, chicken bone, and vegetable soup. But what they do to change things up compared to before is instead of the soy sauce, they're using miso as a seasoning. And besides the miso, we've got that same sesame paste. So you have that nutty sesame sort of flavor, a little bit of creaminess, if you will. And in addition to that, in the soup, they've also added seabura, or pork back fat, as well as lard. So it has a stronger, sort of fattier goodness and flavor. So we've got the same lovely thick noodles with good bite to them. And in the toppings, this is where they also really change things up. The first thing you notice is that big lemon. Again, there's a nice like kind of acidity, and because the soup is a little bit on the heavier side from that pork back fat and also the lard, that lemon, it's a nice refreshing acidic cut through. It goes well with it. In a different kind of way, you have a lettuce. Very unusual as a ramen topping to have lettuce, but also a refreshing sort of brightness in the soup. We also have bamboo shoots as well as sesame seeds. Now, what I'm gonna do is basically pull up with a little bit more of that spicy center. It's sweet and spicy. You feel the sweetness first, then the spiciness follows. That's what I'm feeling right now. And definitely more than the previous one. And they didn't have bean sprouts in the previous one. This is only in this one. Okay, have a little bit more work to do, but in the meantime, I want to tell you all thank you for watching, and definitely give ABC Ramen a visit when travel has resumed. This is a place in Ginza again that is a lot of fun. You enter the basement here, it's a big contrast from what you have up above. Basically, it's like you're entering another world. They've got ramen, they've got gyoza, they've also got a big drink menu, so feel free to visit. And also, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this ramen video from Japan by Food. And if you did, please like and subscribe. Hope to see you in the next ramen video here on Japan by Food. Thanks for watching.